So remember, the entire segment which we discussed was from commercial banks. Oh my god, what is this? It's from commercial banks, and I asked you to so the entire segment is from commercial banks, and I asked you to do a glimpse into how would you prepare segment wise. Okay, and now we have to go into central banks. Okay, have you all studied central banks? Did you all revise central bank? Okay, now be prepared for it. And after doing that quiz, I will tell you the segments as we did for commercial banks. First do the quiz, then know the segments. Okay. What is this one? Empty slides have been created. Yes. Read the quiz from the board, Karan.
That's the ratio of deposit which banks have kept with RBI.
Okay.
The rate at which bank borrows money from RBI by selling their surplus government securities to central banks for a shorter duration is known as. That's the minimum percentage of deposit that a commercial bank has to maintain in the form of liquid, cash, gold, or other securities. That's the rate of which the central bank of a country borrows money from commercial bank within the country. That's referred to a central bank buying or selling short-term treasuries and other securities in the open market in other order to influence the money supply.
Now, having read, see whether you can try any of this. You can answer any of this question. I don't mind. All of this means I'll be highly happy, but I don't know how far is your preparation in central banks. Did you first of all realize the segment from which this question is focused? All these questions for that matter. This is the main segment of the central bank for you as far as your syllabus is concerned.
Third one, I know.
Huh.
Borrows from commercial bank. There is a repo rate, bank repo rate, and reverse repo rate. Three types of repo rate.
Okay.
Which one it is?
But you got very close to the answer. I told you, no, this time you're not bad. I can find that some amount of effort you've put in preparation. I can see that. It's not that you're empty. You have some certain things which banks, commercial banks keep with the central bank, keep with themselves.
I think so. It's a bank.
Okay. So, my dear students, get ready for this. Now, those of you in the class, online or physical, you can mark it off now itself so that you don't have to go home and do that work. However, as a PDF, I will share it in the WhatsApp, for some people. Now, ma'am, what is this, ma'am? You're telling from the day one, selected portions in economics, key concepts. What is this? My dear students, in every chapter, if you see, some additional information is there apart from the main core or the what you call as a heart of the essay. Now, quiz questions and the focus template questions will be on the main part. But in the examination, unexpectedly, in and around questions, related question, small segments are coming up. So that is why it is important. So as I highlight, you also take it, okay? Now, what is this heading? Central problems in an economy. And the three central problems are, initially we had three central problems: what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Now, fourth one has been added. So as you mark, you will know. Fourth one is, what provision should be made for economic growth. So here, how is the question asked is, are they giving you the correct questions? What to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, and what provision should be made for economic growth. Now, what to produce is a discussion on nature of the goods. If you look at it, answer is given to you. Nature of the goods. Capital versus consumer. How to produce is choice of technology. If the question is on choice of technology, the answer is how to produce, because capital intensive or labor intensive. For whom to produce is about the income groups or class of people. And what provision to be made for economic growth is the provision to be made for future generation, sustainable development strategy. So the question and answer is to be highlighted. Okay, the first one. And remember, each one is a separate topic. They are not related. That's why I'm drawing a line also. It's not at all related. Now go to the second one, alternative economic systems. They can ask you a question. What are the three important economic systems? You all know: capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. Now the question can be on the features of capitalism, features of socialism, features of mixed economy. Do you understand? Features of capitalism, features of socialism, features of mixed economy. And the basic idea of capitalism is laissez-faire policy, free enterprise economy. Socialism is government controlled, centralized planning authority. But in socialism, you have one technical point to remember. Who propounded this? It was propounded by Karl Marx and Engels, and the name of their important contribution is the Communist Manifesto, published as early as 1848. Okay, that is an additional point there. And what is mixed economy? Mixed economy is where the private and the public sector coexist. Okay, everything I'll highlight in red. That will be better. And India is a classic example, repeated question. India is now also known as a welfare state. That's a different story. But mixed economy has the features of government sector and private sector. Okay. Now you are going to study the features very clearly. And which are the countries which follow capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy I've given? Like US, UK, Germany, Japan, but in real situation, it has become diluted. It is not strictly capitalism or socialism. So they are not asking about the countries. What they are asking is, they give you a feature. Identify whether it is capitalism, socialism, or mixed economy. Right? Do you follow that? Okay. Now come to the next third segment, advertisement elasticity of demand. Now in economics, generally we study only three types of elasticity of demand. Many times we have seen that. Even in our revision we saw price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand. Now the tidbit which is added here is a advertisement elasticity of demand, also known as promotional elasticity of demand. Look at the formula. Even in the slide I've given proportional change in demand for a product by proportional change in advertisement expenditure. Can you understand? So in income elasticity, it is proportional change in quantity demanded by proportional change in income. In price elasticity of demand, proportional change in quantity demanded by proportional change in price. Here it is spending in advertising expenditure. Proportional change or percentage change or relative change are one and the same. I told you that, no? And here one more point is elasticity. Advertisement elasticity is denoted by EA or EA. We have seen EP, price elasticity. We have seen EI or EY, income elasticity. We have seen EC, cross elasticity. This is EA, advertisement elasticity of demand, also known as promotional elasticity of demand. Please remember that it will always be positive, because when an advertisement is done, even though people may or may not buy, awareness is created. How many of us are getting informed through advertisement? Everybody. So it is always positive. Impact is positive. So they will ask you, EA can be positive, EA can be negative. EA depends upon the amount spent. None of the given. Answer is EA is positive. And remember the formula. Change in quantity demanded by change in spending on advertising. No, go to the next one. Classification of human wants. My dear students, it is quite possible that they can ask you this question on human wants. Our whole consumer behavior utility analysis was based on this wants. You may know that, isn't it? Wants, efforts, and satisfaction is a fundamental formula. Please remember, study this characteristics of human wants. Because of the four given, one will be correct, one will be incorrect. Karan, can you read out this from the board so that those who are listening can also be
wants
clear?
Are unlimited. A particular wants is stable. Wants are
Satiable.
Wants are complementary. Wants are competitive. Wants are alternative. Wants vary with time, place, and person. Wants vary in urgency and intensity. Then wants multiply with civilization. Wants are recurring and wants change with habit. Wants are influenced by income, salesmanship, and advertisement. Wants are the result of customers' conventions, and present wants are more important than future wants.
Now, they may change or make one characteristic incorrect. You must be able to read. You must be able to identify. For example, they will say that present wants are less important than future wants. It's wrong. That is the incorrect one.
Okay.
So for a current and wants are not competitive. It's incorrect because wants are competitive. Wants do not have alternatives. Yes, wants have alternative. Okay, uses. So something like that you will get, right? So this is how you have to prepare this segment. Study all these points together because for right and wrong it is very important. Now coming to the next one, classification of wants. Necessaries, comforts, luxuries. Necessaries, comforts, luxuries. And one thing which you may not know but we have hinted you is necessaries themselves are divided into necessaries for life, necessaries for efficiency, necessaries of conventional norm or conventional necessaries. Please look at the subdivision. Necessaries themselves are classified into necessaries for life, necessaries for efficiency, necessaries or conventional necessaries. Now this subclassification also very strongly you have to know. So what is necessaries for life? My food, clothing and shelter. Basic minimum needs. What is necessary for efficiency? They are not basic minimum needs. They are those which are required for augmenting your energy level, augmenting your longevity. Say for example, just taking any cup of water is necessaries for life. But taking a pure filtered water is necessaries for efficiency. Clean water. So example will be clean water. Nutritional food. So they will have, it's not food and water. Nutritional food. Clean. So you will have a prefix. That is necessaries for efficiency. Okay. And conventional necessaries. That which follows social customs. It is a puja day. In your home, they'll ask you to wear a dhoti. So that necessary is because of your social custom. They'll ask you to wear a sindoor. It is because of a social custom. So when that commodity becomes a necessary because of a social custom, it is called as conventional necessaries. 3 types of necessaries, understand. Then go to the second type of wants, comforts. So what are comforts? They are little above luxuries, little above necessaries, but lower than luxuries. Like for example, you want a proper, say, clothes, something, clothes to suit different occasions. It's not in just like I want something to wear. No, I want to wear a posh kind of a thing. I want to wear a comfortable one, something like that. And what is luxury? luxury is a third level, superfluous, very expensive. See, this is a normal chair for sitting and teaching. If I want to have a handiwork and expensive teak wood and something like that, it is superfluous. Okay, so what is the three main classification of bonds? Necessaries, comforts and luxuries. And under necessaries, you have three subdivisions: necessaries for life, necessaries for efficiency, conventional necessaries. Are you clear? Okay. Now draw a line, go to the next one. Consumer surplus, immediately mark it as very important. Very important. Potential price minus actual price. What is the potential price? Price which a consumer is willing to pay. I was willing to pay 80 rupees. I was willing to pay 100 rupees. Okay. But the actual price was 80 rupees. 80. So I gained 20 rupees. Okay. Now have you seen a diagram of consumer surplus? This is how it will look. Therefore only I said you can have a look into it. This is how. See, in this part, your consumer surplus area is this. A, B, C. If they give a chart and ask you which is your consumer surplus, this is where that your 20 rupees fits in. Because the overall, the demand curve tells you O, B, C, Q1 is a demand. That is, the consumer's willingness is there. But what is that he actually paid? OA, CQ1. This is what he was willing to pay. This is what he paid. So this gap is a consumer surplus. Able to follow? Yes? Highlight that difference. This is very important. Okay, study these two very well. Look at the graph. Which portion is consumer surplus? Noted. Because OBCQ1 is a price you are willing to pay. OACQ1 is a price you are actually paid. So this is consumer surplus. Okay. Then go to principle of equimarginal utility. Underline this. It is Gaussian's second law. Do you remember? In DMU also we did. DMU is Gaussian's first law. Equimarginal utility is second law. It is also known as law of substitution. You know that? Second important law. Look at the slide itself I have given to you. Second important law. It was given by Gaussian. It is known as Gaussian's second law. But what does that law say? This is what you have to know. My dear students, please understand, DMU was done with one goods. Here we do it with the different goods. Our expenditure on different goods. If you are thorough with the slide, you are understanding it. Of course, I have added more, that's different. But what are we saying in the slide? How a consumer can get maximum satisfaction by spending on different goods. In DMU, it was one commodity model. Bread means bread. Apple means apple, that's all. Here it is different. Okay. And look at the another name for it is law of proportionality. Make these two slides as important for you. Law of proportionality. Karan, can you just tell the three names of this law, Gaussian's second law? Let me see whether you have registered in mind. Three names for Gaussian's second law.
DMU? I don't understand.
DMU is Gaussian's first law. What is Gaussian's second law? And give all the names of it. Different names it has. The question is Gaussian's second law. Law of equimarginal utility is Gaussian's second law. It is also known as law of substitution. It is also known as law of proportionality. Look at here. Modern economists call it as law of proportionality. So please study these two slides for the examination. And this is how the formula is. MUA by BA is equal to MUB by BB is equal to MUC by BC, which is A, B, C are commodities. When you spend on different commodities, can the consumer get satisfaction? maximum satisfaction. That is what this law says. Okay, so other things you can just if you are interested you can go through, but in the examination they are not asking you on the importance and limitations. I only gave. Now go to production possibility. Production possibility curve. What should I know? This diagram is more than enough. Yes, because it's a graph based question. Diagram, two diagrams are given. Mark the two diagrams as important. That is, it is a two commodity model. It is not factor y, factor x, y two both are important. Is in both we are trying to show two commodities, sugar and pizza. I think sugar and pizza I showed you there, butter and guns or whatever it is. So here in production possibility frontier, you have to say what are the points of efficiency, what are the points of inefficiency, what are not attainable. These are points of efficiency. Those that fall on the curve are points of efficiency. What which fall below these are inefficient ones. These are not attainable because it is beyond. Are you clear? So production possibility, look at how the curve is. Is this concave or convex? The shape.
Concave.
That's one question. Concave. PPF is always concave. Production possibility frontier, and look at this line. This is what is the important line. A production possibility frontier or a curve is a curve which shows various combinations of two goods which can be produced with the given resources and technology. So I give up certain units of one commodity for one more unit of another commodity. That measure is known as MRT. In indifference curve we saw it as MRS. Here it is MRT. Okay, so MRT is the number of units or amount of goods that must be given up to attain one more unit of another good. So underline your definition of PPF and definition of MRT. That's all. For your quick understanding. Okay, are you clear? Yes. Then let's go to this one. I've already told you IQ means isoquant. Isn't it? It is not indifference curve, though it is downward sloping. It is for producers analysis. It is not for consumer analysis. Please remember that. ISO cost curve or equal product curve. They are all belonging to producers analysis. I mean, the bracket itself I have given you producer behavior. Equal product curve, ISO product curve, constant product curve, alternative names. Okay, don't be deluded by this fact. IC curve is indifference curve. IQ curve is isoquant curve. It is for producers analysis. Your IC curve and IQ curve will be looking same. Okay. Now, do you remember this, Karan? Indifference curve analysis yesterday we took it or before? Where you attend? Yesterday. You were not there.
Do today.
Okay. So this is the budget line. Yesterday we saw consumers equilibrium through indifference curve. So this is, you have budget line BL and indifference curve, two tools to determine the consumer equilibrium. Here in this is consumer equilibrium. Okay. In producer equilibrium you will not have IC, you will have IQ. And in the place of budget line you will have ISO cost line. This is called as ISO cost line. Please look at it. This is not your budget line. So I just tell you this. Please note it for your, it's an exam tip I am giving you. Can I take till 11:30 if you don't mind? 11:30 dot I'll finish. Don't worry. I want to do off that quiz for you.
Yes.
Same line I will draw, but I will not call it as budget line. This is ISO cost. See, look at the same tools, but having different names. That is, well, this is not IC, it is IQ. And IQ here implies, this is equilibrium. This is here IQ is your isopont curve or equal product curve. It is not indifference curve. Okay, and here it is this line, say AB, is not your budget line, it is ISO cost. So what are the two tools in producers equilibrium? ISO quant and ISO cost. What are the tools in consumer equilibrium? Indifference curve and budget line. Okay, this will be your ready reckoner. Okay, yes, I think this is the most easiest way of remembering. Two tools in indifference curve analysis. Using that equilibrium, consumer equilibrium, the tools are IC curve and budget line. And in producers equilibrium, the curve will look similar, but they have different names. It is not IC, it is IQ, ISO quant. It is not budget line, it is ISO cost line. Got it or not? Yes, in a very simplified form I am telling you. Okay, got it? So see, this point, the difference itself is given to you. Okay, so that is also known as least cost combination or producers equilibrium optimal combination, all one and the same. And here mark this as very important. Where should I use MRT? Where should I use MRS? Where should I use PPF? I mean MRS in indifference curve analysis. Okay, MRT in production plausibility frontier. MRT as marginal rate of technical substitution in producers equilibrium. Expected question. I will also make it big. MRS term will be applicable in the context of indifference curve analysis. MRT under production plausibility. Yeah, frontier. MRT, yes. Karan, if I give you one quiz test now, will you do in selected portions?
I'll try now.
So far, what I did?
So far, you have did indifference curve, ICO cost.
If I give, will you do or not? No.
And
Very positive, yeah. Very surprising. Okay, go to the next one because environment, business environment quiz is very important for. Okay, why it's happening like this? Yeah, now we are going to this ridge lines. My dear student, please look at this. In one paper, long back they asked. Directly go here. Okay, now this is called as a ridge line. Please look at this. OA is upper ridge line. OB is lower ridge line. Now within this and upon this you have relevant points of efficiency. Outside this they are inefficient. So this is a definition you have to know. Ridge lines separate the relevant from the irrelevant portion of the isoquant. And look at the explanation here. OA and OB are the ridge lines on the oval shaped isoquant curve, and in between the lines what do you have? Points like G, J, L, N, H, K, M, P. Okay. Now between this, these are all efficient. Outside the ridge, upper and lower ridge, inefficient. So where is the efficiency? So it gives you the frame, upper and lower ridge. Within that, efficiency. Outside that is irrelevant or inefficient. Okay, remember that only. So know the definition, see the diagram, know the upper edge and lower edge. The purpose is given here. Are you clear? Okay, produces equilibrium. I already showed you. Why to give again and again. So MRS. Yes, you know what is MRS? It will come under indifference curve. What is MRT? Marginal rate of transformation. It will come under PPF.
PPF.
Yes. What is MRTS? Marginal rate of technical substitution. It will come under producer's equilibrium. Okay, remember that. Okay, producer's equilibrium. Are you clear? Yes, this is how this is your consumer equilibrium. This is how producer equilibrium also will be. But there instead of good, it will be factor X, factor Y. It will not be budget line, it will be ISO cost line. It will not be IC curve, it will be ISO quant. That's all. Okay. Now look at this. Factors. See, day one you did one exercise, you remember, matching the factors of production with the factor rewards. Land, rent, labor, wages, capital. Capital is interest. Organization is profits. Now, this is one intricate question they can ask. That is the feature of each of the factors of production. Market. So you have to by heart it like features of capitalism, socialism and mixed economy. Land has these features. Labor has these features. So they will ask you to identify the correct and incorrect. Land, features of land. Labor, features of labor. Capital, features of capital. Organization or entrepreneur, features of entrepreneur. Okay, remember that. You are going to study not only factor rewards and see this is one tidbit which we are ignoring. Who will study features of factors of production? We don't do that. You have to do it. That's what I'm having it, isn't it? Okay. This business objectives and constraints you don't have. It is removed from the syllabus. Business. Look at this. No business. That is enterprise objectives and constraints is not there. It is removed. Now go to demand forecasting. Very rarely they are asking, but I just, since you are there, I'll just tell you, we are towards the end of this chapter, don't worry. Methods of demand forecasting. First of all, the name forecasting means what? Estimating something which is going to happen in the future, isn't it? And demand forecasting is estimating the demand in the future, right? Now, what are the methods? At times they ask you, okay, what are the methods? First of all is asking the consumer directly. So what is that method called as? Survey of buyer's intentions. I go and directly ask what brand you buy, what commodity you use. That is the first one. Second is asking the salesperson, because they are in contact with me daily. They are in contact with the consumer daily. So asking the salesperson is called as collective opinion method. And the third one is asking a professional, asking an expert. What do you see will be the demand for liquid soaps, gel pens, smartphones, etc. Okay, and here under expert opinion method, several experts' views are asked, and between the experts, anonymity is maintained. See, for example, you and me are experts. Let us assume, okay, and they're asking us a question about the quality of the commodity. I do not know I am going to give a view. You also do not know that I am going to give a view. We are anonymous. We do not each other. That is called as Delphi technique. You have heard of it?
Yes, knowledge.
And that is given by Olaf Helmer. The expert who has given Delphi technique is experts do not know each other. Both of us are commenting about a particular brand of good. They have asked our opinion, but I do not know. You are there also as a judge. That is called as Delphi technique. That was given by Olaf Helmer. And the next method, popular method of demand forecasting is statistical methods. You have studied no regression, correlation, all this, because classical method is naive. And then controlled experiment method. You know what is controlled? Scientific experiments. See, if they want to do one, say for example, vaccine. One class of people will be administered vaccine. Another class will not be administered vaccine. They will compare these two and say, see how good it is. So one is subjected to the experiment, one is relieved of that experiment. So that is called as controlled experiments. And the last method is index number, barometric method. Very important. Projecting the past into the future. In statistics, we use the term index method. We also call it as barometric method. So with this, what is over? What are these methods of
forecasting?
Demand forecasting. This is easy, this segment. Summa only I added for you. It's very easy. What is this? Difference between producer demand distinctions, producer goods and consumer goods. You know, isn't it? Very easy. Producer goods are what? Capital goods. Consumer goods are final goods. Durable goods are those which you can stay for long. Non-durable are perishable. Isn't it? Derived demand and autonomous demand. Derived demand is the product has no demand for itself. It is derived. Say for example, demand for this windows have no use unless I am having a building. So this is a derived demand. Autonomous demand is I need this glass. Autonomous demand, right? Okay. Industry demand and company demand. What is an industry demand? For the product in general. And in company demand is mentioning the name of the company and asking the product. Singer sewing machine, Samsung television. Okay. Panasonic TV. Can you understand? So when you mention the name of the company, it is firm demand or company demand. Otherwise, it is industry demand. Short run and long run demand as given by Marshall, we have seen elaborately. Okay, that's it. Yes, that you know, no? You did that test also that day. Okay. Now inflation, if at all, inflation and business cycle, they don't ask, but a small bit of portion is there in your book. It's not there in the book. I added, which means in your book it will be there like a Ramayana. The last chapter you see the last page. They have removed that. They are not asking, so I removed. But do you see that features given there? You see the beginning of the chapter. This is the definition and that features would be there. In inflation. It's there. Just check it. In my thoughts, you know, in my Gmail, I saw it was there.
Definition of inflation.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, this is there, no? Anyway, I will share this portion only. I've cut and chopped for you. So this is the last segment. With this, selective portions are over. So now, what is this? See, just a technical part you have to learn. What is inflation is? It is a state of general rise in prices. My dear students, the clarity is rising prices. It is not a state of high. I'm not defining high prices inflation. Rising, it's going up. There is a difference between a state of high prices and state of rising prices, which means there is an upward trend. So that is the first clarity I'm trying to give you there. If you know that, then when inflation goes up, general price level goes up, value of money comes down. That's what the too much of money is chasing too few goods. John Maynard Keynes says, no, all prices are not inflation. Rise in the price level after the full employment is true inflation, right? And in this situation, excess demand leads to further rise in prices. That's why inflation is spiraling. State of rising prices. Know the difference between state of high prices and state of rising prices. Inflation is not state of high prices. It is a state of rising prices. If at all they ask a conceptual question, this is very important. It's a state of rising prices. Remember that. Okay. Now, features of inflation. It is a state of persistent rise in prices. I will highlight the main point. Persistent rise in prices, continuously rising. It's a state of disequilibrium. Remember, demand will be greater than supply. Inflation is scarcity oriented because of high prices. It is scarcity oriented. Inflation is dynamic in nature because It can go on for long period, and that is why a creeping inflation goes to the level of hyperinflation. Inflation is not only persistent, irreversible. You can't control it beyond a certain point. And the excess demand situation leading to all types of, in relation to supply of goods and services, there is an excess demand. That's why we said scarcity. Too much of demand is there. What you will do? It is cumulative in nature. Inflation is thoroughly a monetary phenomenon, purely a monetary phenomenon, and it is after full employment point, post full employment phenomenon. And inflation is a long-term process. So initially itself you have to tackle it, otherwise it goes out of control. Are you clear? With this, selected portions are completely done. So we are now going only into the quiz section, business environment with quiz. Okay, that is the thing I am going to give you. Karan, are you ready for the quiz? 100% ready? Okay, that's a spirit here. You should try. Now what I will do is, I am posting this in the group now. Only question. 1 minute. And that handout will be very helpful for you. My dear students, we are entering into the last segment. Okay.